All right, I'm ready to wind up installing my brand new Armalaser laser. So this is going to be going on the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. This thing was released back in July of 2024 and easily one of the most innovative and just excellent pocket carry guns that have ever been released. If not recently, just of all time. And easily one of the better guns released as of 2024 and probably well into 2025, given what it can do in such a small package. Now, what it is a little pocket pistol, a mouse gun, chambered in .380, using a little Hornady critical defense. As you can see, the firearm is open, clear, nothing in there. Not playing around with safety on this one. So, this little guy, I have it for pocket carry in a little Kydex holster. Nice little thing. Can't remember the company right now. Not the most important thing. I'll put a description in the video. However, on to what we're getting at here. This pistol shoots great, recoil is great, feeds great, everything about it is great, trigger is great. However, the sights. The sights are unmitigated ass. If you take a look at this, what it'll do is it'll get you on sight, it'll get you on target relatively quickly, which is what it's meant for. It's not meant for long-range shooting. It's meant for fast target acquisition at a close range. And to that extent, it does okay. However, because the rear U is so wide, you have a lot of room for error. So, in comes Armalaser. And they finally released this long-awaited laser add-on that goes onto the pistol. It's going to be low profile. Unfortunately, not going to fit with the current Kydex holster I have right now, so we're going to have to move on from that and get something a little bit different. However, in the meantime, let's go ahead and we're going to install this. Looks relatively easy. Again, we're going to make sure that it's cleared. Always treat a firearm as if it's loaded, and we'll go ahead and get this sucker set up right now. Starting off, we'll start off the electronics portion. Now, the cool thing about this laser right here is no button, no shake weak, nothing like that, but rather your finger contacting the undercut of the pistol itself is what activates the laser. So we'll start off by putting this side on. We have to slide and then pop the sucker over the trigger guard. A little finagling, not too much. Fits in like a glove, just like it was meant to. All right, so that's on. Next, let's go ahead. We're going to pop out our battery. We're not going to need it yet, but not going to stop me from having it prepared for when I do need it. All right, put that over to the side right here. Same with the magazine. We don't need it at the moment. All right. Go ahead and mount the sucker on here. The quality of this thing is actually kind of impressive. Okay, so we're going to place it right over. It is snug, very snug. And that's a good thing. I'm happy about that. A little bit of an opening underneath. I'm okay with that. And boom, right in. And we've got a good solid connection there. Next, let's go ahead. We're going to open up our bag O parts. Now, this is going to take 2 set screws. And both those set screws are going to go here and here. Comes with its own little screwdriver. Setup here could not be any easier. As you've seen, only took a couple minutes just to install. We're on, we're tight. However, that is not going to be all. I have a feeling here. Let's take a good look at this real fast. Both these screws. I should have done that before I wound up putting it on. See if there is any Loctite. And there is not. Something we do not want to screw around with. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to go grab a little bit of blue Loctite. We'll get the sucker on there right now. Okay, unfortunately, don't have any blue Loctite, so I'm going to get the blue thread lock on Harbor Freight. I'm going to go ahead and use this little container right here. Get started. Get a little drip going. All right, we're started. And now, one drop. And that should do the trick. Right on there. Let's get you screwed in. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Nice and secure, no over tightening, no need to go stripping the threads. As long as we get good purchase, that's all you need. Speaking of all you need, I'm a little heavy on the thread lock there. But under the circumstances, the last thing I need is this thing jostling around while I'm carrying it, having it come loose and lose zero. Definitely don't want that. Okay, and I'm happy with how it's screwed in. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Next, let's go ahead, take our battery, install that, and along with our battery cover, I push that in, got a little screw here. Now I'm not going to Loctite this for obvious reasons, not the least of which last thing I need is to have to go and replace the battery here and wind up stripping out the screw because I was a little too heavy-handed with the Loctite on that. So let's see. There we go. Very interesting. So with contact, automatically this thing lights up. My finger bridging, look at that, seems to be a little bit on the moody side. Apparently I have to make quite a bit of contact. Not just a little bit, like halfway, but entirely. Oh, no. So, when I'm holding proper, when I actually have my form here, we're lit up. Choking up. If I get good purchase when I go and grab. All right, let's go ahead. Unload this magazine. Again, firearm is unloaded. So, having full purchase here should make it a little easier to make contact. And yeah, absolutely. This is a no-brainer right here. I am not even fully making contact. At least it doesn't feel like I am. I'm holding my pistol a little bit tight. I think I am tricking myself here into thinking that if I hold it tighter, somehow it'll work better. But it's actually working just fine. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of time now. We're going to zero this sucker using a bore sight. Normally, I like to zero at about 35 feet. Under the circumstances, I think I am going to keep it around 20 feet. Any more than that, I think, will be a little bit of overkill and completely unnecessary. But all in all, I mean, me being red-green colorblind, I did wait for the green light, and I gotta say, this thing is very visible. Maybe not so much on camera, but yeah, I gotta admit, this thing is nice. All right, take the bore sighter to it, 20 feet, and the next video you'll see on this little sucker is going to be over at the range. In the meantime, this is Jersey Gunner, and enjoy your Second Amendment rights.